at the stage. Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? If you're watching this on, if you're watching this not on live stream and you're catching it later, please fast forward probably a few minutes in. I'm going to wait for a few minutes for people to join. And if no one joins, I'm just going to do the lesson. And yeah, I hope everyone get a chance to watch it later. I'm talking about how our local government works. It should be really, really interesting. I've been studying this stuff for a couple of years now, so it should be fun. It should be fun. Show comments on stage. No, I'm not gonna do that. YouTube. Newark Star. YouTube. Newark Star. 3 people in here. Okay, that's nice. I'm about to start. What's up, everyone? Thanks for watching. Whoa, I gotta put this on mute. What's up, everyone? Thanks for watching. I'm about to present my screen. Share screen. Share screen is the easiest way with 2 moments. Share entire screen. Present. I'm sorry, I'm just checking in on this. It's a delay. I just need to make sure the screen is being shared. Oh, my screen is not being shared. What? Let's see. Stop sharing screen. All right, I'm going to try it again. Present. What's this? Share screen. Share window. Let's see. Let's see if that works. What's up, everyone? 3 people in the chat. 3 people viewing. My screen is still not being shared. My apologies, y'all. Oh, here it is. At the stage. Okay, there it is now. I think that worked. Okay, here we go. Let's do this. Okay, here we go. Let's do this. Click. Why isn't that showing? Okay, here we go. Why isn't that showing the full screen? Let's see. Okay, I probably have to show it like this through Canva. All right, there it is. All right, so I have to show it like this through Canva, y'all. I'm not sure why it's not presenting, but It's all good. All right, so tonight I'm explaining how Newark government works, how it's designed to function. We're going to look at the written rules and basically explain who has the power, who makes the decision, and how those decisions are supposed to happen. So let's start here with the hierarchy of law in Newark. Laws in the United States are arranged in a specific order. Federal law is stronger than the state law, and the state law is stronger than the city law. This means Newark cannot create a rule that breaks a state or federal law. If it does, that rule can be struck down in court. And again, if you have any questions, please ask them in the chat. I'm monitoring the chat. So if you have any questions, please let me know. If I'm wrong about anything or if you have other information, please let me know. But I've been studying this stuff for a couple of years now, so I think I understand it fairly. So let's start here. The hierarchy of laws in Newark are the U.S. Constitution, then we have the New Jersey Constitution, and then there are New Jersey state laws, and then there are Newark local laws. So the notes here it says a lower level cannot break a higher level rule. If Newark passes a rule that conflicts with a federal or court law, the court can basically cancel it. One example of this is if Newark passed a law banning residents from holding protest signs on public sidewalks, that law would be struck down because the First Amendment to the United States Constitution protects the rights to protects the right to peaceful public expression. So that should be pretty self-explanatory. And again, I made this stuff really really simple. I made this stuff really really simple for us to understand. So again, when we think of laws in Newark, we first have to go by the U.S. Constitution because that's the federal law. Then there's the New Jersey Constitution. And then there are the state laws in New Jersey. And then lastly is Newark local laws. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. Don't be scared to ask questions. It took me a couple of years to learn this stuff, to fully learn this stuff. So please don't be scared. So if you understand this slide, I'm gonna go on to the next one. Under the Faulkner super strong. Yep. City law can't supersede state or federal. Yep, for sure, CZ. I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to that a little later. Well, not a little later, soon, in a few slides. But this is just to start letting people know that we have federal laws, we have state laws, and then there are local laws. And the local laws are basically influenced by the other laws. So if you see by the example, we can't pass a law that's going to supersede a state or a federal law. That's just not how it works. Um, a lower level cannot break a higher level rule. That's the main thing on this slide. So the next slide, let's talk now. Okay, so let's go over the U.S. Constitution. Laws in the United States are arranged in a specific order. Federal law is stronger than state law, and state law is stronger than city law. That means Newark cannot create a rule that breaks a state or federal law. If it does, the rule can be struck down in court. That's exactly what I just said. So here, the United States Constitution is the main legal document that created the national government of the United States. It explains how the federal government is organized into three branches: Congress, the president, and the federal courts. It lists the power of the federal government and sets the limits on those powers. All state and city laws, including Newark's, must follow this constitution. An example is Newark cannot pass a law that bans people from speaking freely in public places because the freedom of speech is protected under the U.S. Constitution. Self-explanatory. So let's go to the next one. The New Jersey Constitution. The New Jersey Constitution controls how government works inside the state. It gives the state the power to create cities and define their authority. It also controls taxation rules on how local government is structured. So the New Jersey Constitution is the main legal document that explains how government works in the state of New Jersey. It sets up the structure of state government, including the governor, the legislature, and state courts. It also gives the state government power. It also gives the state government the power to create cities like Newark and define what they are allowed to do. Every city law in Newark must follow this state constitution. An example of this is Newark cannot create its own income tax unless the state of New Jersey first passes a law allowing cities to do so. So when creating laws in Newark, we first have to look at the New Jersey. We first have to look at the New Jersey Constitution and make sure that we're able to do it. We're able to make any law under the New Jersey Constitution. So when I was creating my North 30 plan, I had to reference the New Jersey Constitution a lot just to make sure many of my ideas are actually doable. So I spent a lot of time going through the New Jersey Constitution, looking at just like the framework. So this is just basically like the framework um, to basically, let me see, how can I explain this in the easy way? It sets the format and it sets the structure on what our state legislators could do. Because based on the Constitution, you didn't have the state laws. So our legislators can only pass laws that the New Jersey Constitution gives them the right to do. So the New Jersey statutes, and statutes is just another form of laws. The New Jersey statutes are laws written and passed by the New Jersey state legislator. So we have 40 senators and 80 assembly members. And they explain the detailed rules cities must follow in areas like policing, housing, budgeting, education, and public records. These laws apply to every city and town in New Jersey, including Newark. Newark cannot ignore or contradict these state laws. An example is Newark must follow Newark must follow New Jersey traffic laws. The city cannot decide that drivers do not need to stop at red lights on city streets because traffic rules are set by state law and must be enforced locally. So again, when you think about traffic laws, most traffic laws in Newark are probably all of the traffic laws in Newark. They come from the state. The city cannot decide what drivers do. Um, that's something that's really important because many people, like when you think of, like, actually I don't know, like when we one thing I think about a lot are the speed bumps. I wonder if speed bumps are applied locally. That's something that I'm about to put in my notes that I need to research. What about speed bumps? I just thought about that. But other laws, mostly those laws are controlled by the state. What about speed bumps? I'm gonna research that later. And again, if you have any questions, this slide is only about I think it's about 20 slides in here. So, but they're pretty self-explanatory. I created this 2 days ago, and the goal was to make it really, really simple. So those are the New Jersey state laws. Then you have, okay, now let's get into Newark. Now we have Newark ordinances and local laws. Newark ordinances are local laws passed by the Newark City Council. They apply only inside of the city of Newark and cover local issues like parking, noise, property rules, and business permits. These laws must follow both New Jersey state law and the U.S. Constitution. City departments then enforce these ordinances in daily operations. Speed bump goes to the Department of Engineer of the city. Yeah, for sure, CG. I just wonder if there are state laws that requires speed bumps on certain streets, or if that's something that's left up, or if that's something that's local. Like, can a state? Let me see. Let me see 1 second, y'all. I'm about to ask Shaniqua. And Shaniqua is this AI tool that I created. Um, does the city, what about parking meters in the app? Does the money go back into Newark? Yeah, I'm going to get into that. Mom on a mission. Yeah, so a parking that is from the Newark Parking Authority, and that's a government of Newark entity. I want to figure out this speed bump thing real quick. Does who who determines speed bumps? State or local? Let me see. Okay, so speed bumps, it depends on who owns the road. I saw a map earlier and it showed the list of county roads and a list of city roads. Um, okay, so speed bumps that's determined by who own the roads. If it's a county road, that's a county issue. If it's a city road, then it's a city issue. So yep. Okay, so example of the Newark ordinances and local laws is Newark can pass a law requiring owners of abandoned buildings with boarded windows, graffiti, or overgrown lots to clean and repair the property. If they do not fix these visible problems, the city can issue daily fines until the building meets safety and appearance standards. So this is an example of a local law. I'm going to explain in a few how those local laws are created, but I just wanted to go over at a very high level the hierarchy of laws. Again, you have the US Constitution. This supersedes everything. So this things like free speech. Um, there's another question. The city needs to have a better relationship with the county. The county roads show they don't, shows they don't. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's Joey D. If you know Joey D, I can't. So Joey D is he controls the county, and yeah, they play so many political games. I don't even know. City law, ordinance, and landlords are enforced by who? I'm going to chat about that. That's enforced by the mayor and the city departments. So we're going to get there. I'm just going over a high level, just the framework of how just which laws supersede which. So U.S. Constitution, New Jersey Constitution, New Jersey state laws, and New Jersey local laws. So now we did these three. Let's get into the home rule. Okay. So now this is gonna start to get good. So home rule. Home rule means Newark has the authority to manage its own local services without asking the state or approval every time. This includes running the police and fire departments, maintaining streets, collecting trash, and managing local parks. Newark's local government can make decisions about how these services are delivered to residents. However, Newark must still follow state and federal laws and cannot go beyond the powers the state allows. An example, Newark can choose to create a city owned grocery store or utility program to make goods and services cheaper for residents, but it must still follow New Jersey's business, labor, and safety laws when operating. So again, home rule is this idea that cities have freedom, right? So like cities have freedom to be creative, um, based on the framework that is set by the Constitution. So one example was when I thought about how we can generate more revenue for the city, I had to look at the Constitution. And the Constitution says cities have the right to go into business if that business or that enterprise is in the better need of the residents. So that's one thing that I had to really research. I had to go through the Constitution and see, are we allowed to generate our own revenue, and the state or the state's constitution allow us to do that, and that's essentially what home rule is. My apologies, guys. I have three screens up right now. I'm looking at three screens trying to manage the chat. So yeah, so that's home rule. Home rule gives the cities freedom to get creative and not have to go to the state every single time they want to do something that is, I wouldn't say questionable. Like every time they want to do something new, it's like, so cities have the right to be flexible. That's basic what home rule means. Now we want to get into the Faulkner Act. The Faulkner Act is a New Jersey state law that lets cities choose how their local governments is organized. It offers different forms of government instead of one single system for every city. Newark chose the mayor council form under this law. This law is the legal reason Newark has a strong mayor and a separate city council. An example of this, not all New Jersey towns use the Faulkner Act. Some use the borough form or township form where power is shared differently. Newark uses the Faulkner Act, a mayor council system with a strong mayor. So in 1954, there our city was ran. If you watch my documentary, you see this in my documentary. Our city was ran by a commission. That mean that, well, before 1954, that means five people essentially determined most of the decisions in our city. But in 1953, they implemented the Faulkner Act. And that's essentially what it is here. The Faulkner Act is this idea that the mayor has a lot of power in our city. Again, our city is like, we give our mayors a lot of power, and this was implemented in 1954, and it hasn't changed. I'm going to show you in the next few slides all of the powers the mayor have, but the mayor has a lot of power in our city to make a lot of decisions, mainly over who serves in the department heads, the budget. The mayor has a lot of power, and the mayor has a lot of influence in our city. The council is responsible for the legislation and the laws, and the mayor is in charge of running the city day by day. I'm about to share that next. City ordinance for landlords. Okay, I saw that already. So the city charter. Our city charter is the official set of legal rules that explains how the city government must be organized. It defines the role of the mayor, the city council, and the departments. These rules come from state law and apply specifically to Newark's form of government. The charter acts as the city's operating rule book. Again, in 1954, Newark chose Mayor Council Plan C because they wanted a strong full-time mayor to manage a large city, while the council focused on making laws and oversight. This was one of the several government options available under the Faulkner Act. So, New Jersey allows New Jersey allows states to pick which form of government they want, and many of these forms of government are determined by the size of the city or town, or whether your town is a borough, whether it's a city. And we chose a Faulkner Act in 1954, and it's interesting because I think the Faulkner Act still allow outside influences to run our city. So before we chose this style of government, our government was like low key ran by the mob, and the mob had a lot of influence. The Italian mob, they had a lot of influence on our city, and they still kept that influence because they controlled the mayor. So you're gonna see later that the mayor controls a lot of the city contracts. The mayor determines who gets paid what jobs. The mayor determines who sits at a lot of these departments. So the Italians still had control of our government even under the Faulkner Act. And the Newark City Charter is just where is it? Oh yeah, so the Newark City Charter just basically explains who has the power in the city. So it explains that the mayor has most of the power, and the council supposed to be there just to control the mayor, but as you're going to see later, the mayor even figured out the way that they can control the council members. So in Newark, we have two branches of our city government. Newark's government is divided into two separate branches that have different responsibilities. The executive branch, led by the mayor, runs the city departments and handles daily operations like police, fire, sanitation, and housing services. The legislative branch, which is the city council, writes local laws, approves the city budget, and provides oversight of city government. This system keeps the power to run the city separate from the power to make the rules of the city. Example, the city council can pass a law about property maintenance, but the mayor's departments are the ones to send inspectors, issue fines, and carry out code enforcement. So here you see the executive branch runs the city department. So the police, the mayor determines the police chief, the mayor determines the fire chief, the mayor determines who's going to be head of different departments, and the legislative branch, which is the council members, they just create the laws. And the council members also, you're going to see later, they're supposed to hold the mayor accountable. They have some rules too. It's supposed to be checks and balance. I'm going to talk about that later as well. But right now, I just want to explain simply that we just have two branches of government similar to the state and at the federal level. So the mayor's powers. The mayor is the chief executive of Newark and is responsible for running the city's day-to-day operations and appointing department heads. The mayor oversees city departments such as police, fire, public works, and housing and health. The mayor prepares the city budget and signs contracts and makes sure laws are carried out. The mayor can also veto laws passed by the city council, although the council can override that veto with enough votes. An example, the mayor can direct city inspectors to increase inspections of buildings owned by slumlords and order faster action on housing code violations like broken heat, leaks, or unsafe conditions. And this is important because when we see Ras Baraka go to Delaney Hall and he wants to see what's going on there, people ask, like, why didn't he do the same thing when it comes to these slumlords? Many of these slumlords are legit not doing what they're supposed to do. Like, they're like low-key scamming residents in our city. But the mayor doesn't use his oversight power at all. He doesn't use any oversight power to go hold any of these slumlords accountable, but that's his job. So when we think about code enforcement in the city, that's the mayor's job because he's important. He's important all of these people to these department heads like the police, the fire, public works, housing. CZ mentioned the Department of Engineer. It's like code enforcement is controlled by the mayor. That's his job. So when you ask, city ordinances for landlords are enforced by who? The mayor. The mayor, and his department heads. And they're not doing it. Like we don't have our code enforcement in Newark is very, very weak. Got another question. Exactly. My landlord hasn't registered my building in 3 years and it's supposed to be annually. Exactly. Yep. That's the mayor. And now because there's no transparency, you have to wonder what type of deals that they have going on with these developers and these slumlords. Like, why isn't exactly my landlord hasn't registered my building in 3 years? I hear this story a lot. Like how is that even possible that there are landlords that are not registering? And it's like everyone knows this. We so janky in the city. We so janky in the city, but the mayor would still go out and he would go to Delaney Hall. Why? Like I just don't understand why he just doesn't put that same energy in attacking these slumlords. Oh, but I'm going to city council. I'm going to city council next week, and I'm gonna ask them some questions. But it's weird. I don't get it. So the council powers, we have a question. They get away with it and get chances to keep violating tenants' rights. We shouldn't have to fight this hard for safety. And that's why earlier today, when I put the title of this here was the title, How Newark Government Works. And everyone was commenting like it doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. And it's weird because like we know our laws, and you're going to see later it's like the only solution we have is to vote them out, but no one votes. So if no one votes, that means that they can continue to get away with this stuff. So again, that's why I'm running. And I don't have a lot of energy tonight because I think I'm getting sick. I feel a little sick. I feel a little weak today. I was feeling like this all day. But yeah, like that's why I'm running. I'm running for that exact reasons, to just try to, so we can have someone in there that actually represents the people, and like that would use his powers. Like as you see, the mayor has a lot of powers in the city. You just have to flex your powers. And I personally think he's not doing it because they get money. We need a new system and genuine people in office. Yep. So the council powers. The Newark City Council is Newark legislative branch and is responsible for making local laws. Council members write and vote on ordinances that cover issues like housing rules, traffic, and business regulations. The council reviews and approves the city budget and must confirm many of the mayor's appointments. The council can also hold public hearings and investigate problems in the city. So basically, what happens is if the mayor says, I want this person to be the police chief, or I want this person to be the head of the police, the council has to vote on if they want that person in or not. And how they do it now is that the mayor usually runs with a ticket. So when you look at the current council members now, you have the Kelly, you have Roundtree, you have you have the other pastor from the South Ward, excuse me, and then now you have Amina Bay. So that's 4 out of the 9. Who else is? Oh yeah, and then you have Crump. So the mayor has 5 people that runs on his team, and in order to get something passed, you need 5 out of the 9 to vote yes. So he controls the city council by simply, like, how can I put this? Those city council members are the mayor's little homies. So think about it like that. Like they're his little homies, and they essentially do every single thing the mayor tells them to do. So if the mayor says, I want to put this criminal as the department head of, again, I'm not going to say the name because there's many criminals that have these positions. If the mayor says, I want to put this criminal as a department head of such and such department, he just go to the council members and say, do this. So it's sort of like a mob boss. Like he just directs them and tell them what to do. Yep, a bunch of yes men. If they raise these fines instead of ignoring the problem, I've read up on the ordinances and they are so outdated. Exactly. Many of these laws haven't been updated since the 1950s. But again, they were designed back in a time when the mob had a lot of influence in our city. And when you had King Gibson, you had Sharp James, you had Cory Booker, and you had Ras Baraka. They have continued the same things the previous administrations were doing, which was, again, scamming the city. All these people figured out a way to legally, and again, this stuff is legally, like, so like a lot of the stuff that they're doing is legal. It's just that our laws are so outdated. We don't have many modern laws to stop some of this corruption that's going on. So they just know when they get in office, they're going to do exactly the same things the previous administrations have been doing, and some of them have been accused of doing this stuff. Like some of them went to jail as well. So sometimes they get caught for doing these backroom deals and stuff, but for the most part, they don't get caught because that's just the tradition of Newark politics. But this is the most important thing right here to me. The council can hold public hearings and investigate problems in city government. They do not do that because, again, 5 out of the 9 council members are part of the administration. And even if you want to do something, I've heard from previous council members. I tried to get Ron Rice on, but it was last minute, and I don't know how much he's going to share because he still has relationships. But even if you do want to do a public hearing, you can get pressured not to by the other city officials. And I think that's the messed up part because these council members are not independent. What do you think about the local control of schools and the city's influence on where the schools district is today versus state control? Like my initial reaction is just that, like, let's just say you had local control of the schools, right? And then you had bad people who were in control. And you had state control and you had people that were good and they care. It's like that argument gets lost on me sometimes because I don't and I gotta watch it. My heart says I don't care who's in control as long as these people are doing right by our people. When you got like $40,000 per kid is supposed to be spent. Well, that's the average. When you look at our budget and you look at the amount of students, that's $40. That's $40,000 per kid. And granted, that money gets spread out. Teachers, um, janitors, different types of people, but still $40,000, that's higher than most of these schools in these other cities. So I just think we need to figure out a way on how we get the right people in there. And I can I can come up with some solutions, but it also comes down to like us voting on the right people. Like why are we voting on candidates who are endorsed by the mayor? Like that's something I don't get. Like why don't voters and constituents look at it like there's a conflict of interest if the mayor is endorsing someone because that means that the mayor can get his way, especially if you're not a good mayor. Like I can understand, like that's why this is hard because if I get in there and I have a plan and I say, okay, here are the people that I think should have these council positions or these positions on the school board. If those people are aligned with my vision, I can get my vision done more easily. I can get it accomplished more easy. But if I'm a crook and I just want to steal money, that's when things get weird. And that's low key what they've been doing for a while. They've been appointing these people. The school board is just there. There's some of the that's a $1.5 billion budget. And because things are not transparent, I'm sure they figured out a way to have that money flow in different areas where it's getting sent to friends and friends is getting money sent back to the mayor or whoever. But I don't like speaking on it because it becomes speculation. I don't have too much proof, but I know this stuff is happening. Like when I look at Roger Leone, he spent $250,000 on balloons, and that company wasn't even in Newark. So it's like, who is that company? And like, is that company a family member? Is that company someone he knows? Like then they can give him like I don't. It's a lot going on because we don't have like a lack of transparency. So back to your question, I don't know. I don't know if state control of local control is a thing, or if it's the residents putting people who are qualified in there. But again, people do not vote, and that's the reason why I'm doing this to show at a simple level how our local government works. Exactly. Familiarity. Most people vote because they do the research on the candidates. People use Newark as a step up. Yeah, I know. I know. People use Newark as a step up. So how can we stop that? I think it comes down to us making local government cool. And that's a big part of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make this stuff cool to make specifically millennials get involved in it. Because if you look at the number of millennials that are in Newark, we have enough voting power to actually get the right people in office. We just don't vote. We just don't vote. So my mission is like, how can I simplify this stuff? That's why I'm talking about this from a very high level. And it took me a couple of years to really understand this. And some of this stuff I'm still learning because there's so many tricks. Like that's why I wanted Ron Rice to come in here because all this stuff is just nerdy. It's just like what it says by the books. But some of these people, they know how to swindle this stuff to get what they want. And that's what I'm excited about learning too, so we can change some of these laws to stop them. You're right. The younger generation don't vote because they feel they're not being heard. Yep. 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 So again, they do not do any public hearings on because I think I think like see, I don't want to say anything and somebody clip this and then say I don't know what I'm talking about because all this stuff is speculation because we don't know. And that's what they try to do with me already because I don't know. Let's just say this. An example, the council can pass a law that increases fines for landlords who fail to provide heat in the winter, but the mayor's departments enforce that law. So again, if the mayor is in charge of if the mayor is in charge of enforcing the laws, the council can create a law to say we're going to fine them. But if the mayor is in charge, but and then the mayor's also in cahoots with some of these landlords because again these landlords are donating to these people's campaigns, he's not going to go and sit code enforcement on them, or he's not going to go find them because they're in bed together. And that's another thing that's weird that if the council do want to go investigate the mayor has to approve that investigation. That's how outdated some of this stuff is. So if the council members say, okay, I see some corruption going on, I want to do an investigation, they have to go to the mayor and the mayor has to approve that investigation. What mayor is going to approve just being investigated on? So that's why a lot of these laws are just really, really old and outdated. You're right. Okay. So that's the council powers. So the Newark Municipal Code, this is just the local laws. So the city charter basically explains who has the power. It's the Faulkner Act. It's based on the Faulkner Act, and it explains who has the power. And again, strong mayor, weak council system. So the mayor runs the city day to day, and the council members, they are responsible for creating the laws. So the Newark Municipal Code is the organized collection of all the local laws passed by the Newark City Council. It includes rules about housing, zoning, traffic, businesses, public safety, and public maintenance. When a council passes a new ordinance, it is added into the code under the correct section. This is where residents can look up exact laws that apply inside Newark. Note, local rules about trash pickup schedules, fines for illegal dumping, or requirements for business licenses are all written inside the municipal code. Again, the city charter explains basically who has the power, and the municipal code explains the local laws. You mean the strong mayor, strong council? You mean strong mayor, strong council? Yeah, strong mayor, strong council. I said weak council, but they be acting like a weak council, man. They don't do anything. I feel like they become weak when you have the mayor just putting all his people in there, because then they're just yes men essentially. So that was a Freudian slip. Thanks, CZ. I appreciate you, my brother. So now we're gonna talk about how laws are made. Laws in Newark start off as proposals called ordinances, usually introduced by a city council member. The ordinance is discussed in a public meeting and residents can speak during the public comment period. The council votes on the ordinance, and if it passes, it goes to the mayor. The mayor can sign it into law or veto it, and the council can override a veto with a two-thirds vote. So, an ordinance. I presented the transparency ordinance to the council, and they didn't do anything. They didn't do anything. I went, but they definitely act weak. Yep. I went to the city council and I proposed a transparency ordinance, basically asking our city council to implement an ordinance that allows the public to see how every dollar is spent. I proposed it, nothing happened. No one reached back out to me about anything. So they definitely don't want to share how the money is spent. But once they do get the vote, and again, this is why the mayor wants five people that's on his side, because he can basically, like for instance, if I have five people running with me and we all get in and I say I want the transparency ordinance, I would go to one of those council members, I would say introduce this to the council, and then the council members will have to vote on it. If I get 5 votes out of the 9, that passes. So let's just say if there's a law that I don't like and the council passes it, I can veto it. I can veto it. But then what happens is the council can then override that veto with two-thirds of the vote. So there's ways to get things done. That's why it's like I'm trying to figure out a way how I can just like educate the residents and then use the residents to influence the council members. Like that's my strategy. My strategy isn't finding other people to run on my ticket so I can influence them. My strategy is educating the residents, getting the residents on my team and empowering the residents, teaching them their rights so then they can go put the pressure on the city council members. Nothing will happen because they will be exposed if they agree to your ordinance. The thing about it is that that's what many other municipalities do already. So, yeah, they're going to be exposed, but they need to be exposed because this is public money. Like, this is public money that these people are spending. Like, I just don't understand how they can spend public money so, like, privately. That's weird. Like, speaking of how laws are being made, when they implemented the budget and the residents had a chance to speak about or just like speak on the budget, I went up there and I called them out. I said there's a line item in this budget that says it says other expenses $300 million. It didn't, like, there was no breakdown of these expenses. It just says other expenses. And I went up there and I was like, what are these other expenses? They didn't say nothing. They was just looking at me like I was crazy. But other expenses for $300 million. And then after I left, someone came up to me and they was like, man, you want transparency, but you don't understand. This city won't run if the residents and everybody knew all the things that's getting paid. Basically admitting to the corruption. And I'm just like I had to stop getting angry because it was affecting my personal health. So now I'm just channeling that anger into just motivation to keep doing what I'm doing, because I can't keep getting angry about this. It's like this is crazy. I just can't believe they've been getting away with this for so long. An example, if the council wants stronger penalties for slumlords who ignore housing violations, they introduce an ordinance, hold a public hearing, vote on it, and send it to the mayor for approval. And to be honest, there are many laws that exist that are supposed to hold slumlords accountable. They're just not being enforced. And again, this is why I'm going for mayor because I'm gonna use my powers to enforce all of this stuff. I'm gonna make sure that these people are held accountable. Like, trust me, I'm gonna make sure, like 1,000%. I'm gonna do everything I can. And if I have people that's working in City Hall that's not doing it, they gotta go. They gotta go. We need people in here that really, really care about the people. So again, most of the enforcement is done by the mayor and his teams. What? Yup, exactly. $300 million. It just said other expenses. So what's in that? Like, where's that money going? And it's been like this for years. And it's because our constituency, there's not a lot of people that's talking about it. If this was like in Short Hill somewhere and you had 300 people going to these city council meetings, things would change. But here in Newark, they just see the same old people going to these council meetings, and that's why nothing changes. And then the low voter turnout. Our mayor, listen, there are 165,000 registered voters in this city, and our mayor won with 14,000 votes. So that's 8% of the registered voters in our city. That means 92% of registered voters didn't vote at all or they didn't vote for the mayor. But then them, we give him all of that power. But that's also proof that you don't need many people in Newark to create change. Exactly. My refrigerator just went out, and I just spent an entire week responding to email to them to tell me they're not obligated to replace it. Newark has been bought. Listen, my grandmother lives in a senior building, and they sent out notices and that says if your pipes bust, you are responsible for paying for the damage. This is a senior building out there. So like I can't even get sad about this stuff no more, man. This stuff is I can't man, it's not even right. It's not even right. These people don't care at all. And then man, all right. So then you have veto powers. After the city council passes a law, it is sent to the mayor. The mayor can sign a law to approve it or veto it to reject it. A veto sends the law back to the council with the mayor's objections. The council can still make the law happen if 2/3 of the members vote to override the veto. So if the council passes a law increasing fines for illegal dumping and the mayor vetoes it, the council can then override the veto with enough votes and the law will still take effect. And this right here is why they run on these tickets. This is exactly why they run on these tickets because the mayor just wants an easier way to get what he wants done. He doesn't want to he doesn't want to do he doesn't want to do the democratic thing. He just wants to do the easiest thing. But again, it's hard. It's not that it's hard to blame him, but it's like that's the culture that's been in place before Ras Baraka even got in there. This is something that the Italian mayor before Ken Gibson did. This is something Ken Gibson did. Sharp James did it. Cory Booker did it. Now Ras Baraka is doing it. And I'm just trying to go in there. I'm just trying to create a whole new system, something totally new, and say we're not doing it like that anymore. Because if he can control the council, he don't even got to worry about this because he has 5 out of the 9 people in there. So they're not going to pass a law that doesn't go with what the mayor wants. Again, they're all puppets in there. They're all yes men, every single one of them. So who knows when the last time this happened? I doubt this ever happened. So now the budget. So when you look at our budget, we have nearly $1 billion budget. And here's how those things are made. The city budget is the plan that shows how Newark will collect and spend money for the year. The mayor prepares the first version of the budget. So the mayor works with the business administrator. This including funding for departments like police, fire, and public works. Excuse me. The city council reviews the budget, holds public hearings, and can reduce or adjust spending before voting to approve it. Once approved, city departments spend money according to the budget under the mayor's direction. I wish I could pull up this hold on, oh man, like I wish I could pull up this video. Basically, it's the chief of staff, which is Ras Baraka's brother. At the budget hearing, he basically just like he spent all of 10 seconds up there because he had to explain the mayor's budget. He spent all of 10 seconds up there explaining the budget. Only thing he said was, yeah, we just going to follow the same budget from last year, which was a raise. He was given, like they were giving the mayor and the administration staff and the council members a 30% raise. He didn't even explain it. He just went up there and was like, "Yeah, my assistant is not there, but the budget is the same as last year." And they just was like, "Okay, okay, go." He didn't have to explain anything. So at these budget hearings, you don't get anything, and but all this stuff is recorded, so you can see it. And I'll be clipping some of it, but these people don't have to explain how they're spending this money at all. And the council members just like, "Yeah, we approve it." But this here, I'm just trying to share here that the mayor and the business administration and the business administrator, they are control of creating a budget. In these last few years, they've been late on a budget. Like they're trying to finesse their way around these budgets with government money or federal money, state money. They're trying to just finesse these budgets and they end up being late. And when you're late with these budgets, you get fined. You get fined by the state by not producing your budget in a timely manner. And for the last few years, they've been late with creating these budgets. And because people don't care, they get away with it. They get away with just doing whatever they want to do with this money. So an example is if the mayor's budget includes money to hire more sanitation workers, the council can decide to lower that amount or move some of the funding to building inspections before passing the final budget. But again, the council are not doing their jobs because they're in bed with the mayor. So that's how budgets are made. The budgets are controlled by the mayor and his teams, and the council has to approve it. And they're always going to approve it if Ras Barak has 5 out of the 9 council members on his team. So boards and authorities. Boards and authorities are separate decision-making bodies created by the law to handle specific areas like zoning, planning, or housing. So someone asked about the parking authority before. So we have the planning board. The planning board decides on major land use plans and large development projects. So basically they just decides what, so the planning board decide what gets built, and the mayor appoints people on the planning board. The zoning board reviews. Okay, so the zoning board is basically they are control of saying just how certain areas are built. There was another map. I wish I could just pull that map up. I should have pulled the images up too. But they basically, like, you have certain areas that's dedicated to like mixed use development. There's certain areas where like you can't build past 10 stories. So that's basically zoning. It's basically the rules on what type of things you could build in which areas. And then you have the housing authority. Housing authority manages public housing programs and related policy. And then the parking authority, Newark Parking Authority, oversees city-owned parking facilities and rules. So these are the boards, the main boards we have here in Newark. And these boards are mandated by the state. Well, I know the planning board, the zoning board, and the housing authority. The state requires you to have these boards. I'm not sure about the parking authority. So an example is the planning board decides whether a developer can build a large apartment building on a specific property based on zoning and city planning rules. Yep. Um, okay, so checks and balances. Newark's government is designed so no single branch has total control. The mayor runs city departments, but the city council controls lawmaking and budget approval. The mayor can veto laws, but the council can override that veto with a two-thirds vote. I explained that. The council must approve many of the mayor's appointments, which create shared power between both branches. Example, if the mayor appoints a new department director, the council can vote to reject that appointment, which prevents the person from taking a job. And this is exactly why I don't want to run on a ticket. Because if I run on a ticket, that means that I could put the people that I want in these positions, and then that's how I can surpass this checks and balance, this checks and balances. Because if I have five out of the nine council members that's on my team, then there's going to be no one that can hold me accountable, and I just will be doing what everyone else is doing. And that's how these people get corrupt, because they don't have checks and balances. They don't have the council members that's holding them accountable. So that's why I don't want to run on a team, because I think it would hurt my brand, because I would be doing exactly what everyone else is doing. Instead, I'm just trying to empower the residents. Just let them know their rights so they can go out and they can pick the council members that they think is right. And hopefully I can just say, hey, here are the type of council members that we want, because this is the vision of the city that we need. And hopefully the residents will, or actually I can work with the residents to say, what type of council members do we want? And then we create the plan and we go out and we elect those council members that fits our plan that we created collectively. And ideally, you have council members that want the same thing. The problem is, like someone mentioned, these people get bought out. They get bought out by these developers. They get bought out by these businesses, because everyone wants something. And that's why I wouldn't say I've been having trouble raising cash. I just haven't, like, I haven't pursued that route to raise that major cash, because everyone wants something. I tried to raise some cash, but then everyone was like, they was like, oh, what I'm gonna get. Like, that's just the culture here. If everyone wants something. And I'm just like, no, I just don't want to do that. So, but I also don't think that we need that much money, because a lot of people are fed up. So if this is just like a word of mouth thing, I think we can get it done. And I think that's the best way to do it, rather than going trying to raise cash for what, marketing essentially. Like, that's the only thing the cash is for. Or you get cash for like more signs, more flyers, more volunteers to go knock on doors. But that money always comes with something. And when that money comes with something, that's when checks and balances just goes out the window, because no one's going to hold no one accountable, because they have other interests, and their interest is not the people. So I truly believe if we want to do something like clean in Newark, I feel like it's possible, because not a lot of people are engaged. Like anywhere else, in New York City, you gotta raise millions of dollars to compete. You gotta raise so much money, because that's just the name of the game. Also in New York, what the government does, if I raise $50,000, the local government matches that money, so they would give me $50,000 as well. They don't do that here in Newark. We don't do that here in Newark. There's no matching fundraising thing or campaign here in Newark. So the last slide is the residents. The residents are the foundation of Newark's government, because they choose who represents them through elections. Article 1, Section 2 of New Jersey Constitution states that all political power comes from the people, and the government exists to protect their rights and serve their benefit. Residents can speak at public meetings, contact elected officials, and serve on boards or community groups that influence decisions. Government is easier to hold accountable when residents understand the system and use their voice. Example, a resident can be appointed to the planning board or zoning board of adjustments where they vote on development projects and land use decisions that affect their neighborhoods. I'm really big on this idea that the Constitution says that all political power comes from the people and government exists to protect their rights and to serve their benefit. Like, this is legit in the Constitution. So I'm just trying to encourage people to truly, truly believe in that. So many people are jaded that it's hard for them to even believe in something like this. But it's possible. It's right here in our Constitution. We just need the right systems and we need the right movement to get people to actually care. So that's my entire mission, letting people know that our Constitution says this is our government. And I'm just trying to give the government back to the people. So that's the whole, like, that's the entire presentation. Is at a very, very high level. And it's the first, and it's my first time trying to do this. So if there was anything that's confusing or anything anyone needs clarification on, please, please, please share with me right now. Um, I think I got a little fever, yo. Like, I'm feeling a little, my brain is not even like operating the right way. I'm like delirious. I can't even think right, but I still came on here and did this. But if there's any questions you have, please let's chat about it. Um, I wanted to show some videos. I want to show some videos from my Facebook. I want to see if I can just scroll down and actually show them. Let me see. Yeah, let me know if you have let me know if you have some questions, y'all. Um, I gotta scroll down far because I want to show y'all what I was talking about. Hope this don't make y'all dizzy. Wait, do I go here? Reels? Nah. Education is elevation. Hope you feel better. Yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. But before y'all go, I want to show y'all a video. I want to show y'all this video. Oh, this video right here is where our business administrator said that we're in debt. One thing I don't understand is that Mondani, the governor in New York, he came out and said they are $12 billion in debt. And then the mayor in Jersey City said that they are in $250 million in debt. Then an article came out a few weeks ago saying that we are in $255 million in debt. And this is what our business administrator had came out and said. This guy said there is no $255 million deficit. If someone has any evidence on the deficit, they should produce it. He's the business administrator. Like, what do you mean if someone has evidence? Like, he's up there lying. He's really up there lying about our deficit, and they're doing it because we are in election season. So they get up there and they just lie. When is the next city council meeting? How can I stay up to date on the meeting details? So the next city council meeting is on the 18th, Wednesday the 18th at 6:30, and they usually air it on the YouTube channel. They usually air it on the YouTube channel. But before y'all go, I just wanted uh I should have searched this already, y'all. My bad. But I want to show y'all this one video. I want to show y'all this one video. What is it? This one? Newark is carrying so much debt. Oh no, that's not that one. Is it this one? Newark Housing Authority. Nope. I'm sorry, y'all. Bear with me. Bear with me. I hope this not dizzy. I hope this not making y'all dizzy. Oh, let's look at this video. Let's look at this video real quick. Oh, my bad. The sound is choppy. Can't hear it. Sounds choppy on my end. My bad. Basically, but this is the deputy mayor. He's the deputy mayor of workforce development. He said he got $10 million to spend on AI programs, but he just admitted that he doesn't know anything about AI. He said he doesn't know anything about AI, but he's in control of spending $10 million on government programs, y'all. He just admitted he don't even know about this stuff. Like these are the people that's controlling. Like these are the people that's controlling our money. If you can't hear it, then maybe I shouldn't even scroll back. So that same guy that's in control of that is look, this is him at a city council meeting. And look, this was from like 2018. Look, he just look at this. This is in our city council chambers. That same guy is the deputy mayor from 2012. That's when this meeting was. Look at this, y'all. 2012, it was a fight in the city council chambers. Like these are the people running our government. Yo, this is crazy. Oh, this is crazy. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just want to like if it's gonna be choppy, I at least want to put it in the chat. Where is this video? It's at a budget. It's at a budget. I want to put this video in the chat. Yeah, so bad. What month was it? Oh, that's December. It's probably. Listen, y'all. I don't want to be here. I don't want to take up much of y'all time, but I do. I do want to find this video. I should have scrolled. Is it this? How do I get back up here? December. Listen, y'all, send me a message on Facebook or something, and I can send you this video. But it's basically the chief of staff trying to justify the budget, and the council just was like, yeah, whatever you say. He did not defend his budget at all. He just went up there and he just was like, yeah, we're gonna do the same thing as last year. But the council was responsible for like grilling them, like, what are you doing with this money? And they did not do it. This is hundreds of millions of dollars that we're talking about too. These people are doing whatever they want to do with this money and they're not spending it transparently. And they've been doing this for years. So it's like, how do we get people to actually care? That's what I'm trying to figure out, y'all. But if y'all have any questions, definitely let's chat. Um, yeah, like let's chat. But that's all I got tonight. That's all I got tonight for y'all. Uh, let me stop this. See, I need to learn how to work this, y'all. What the heck? Anywho, I'm about to go, y'all. If y'all have any questions, definitely let me know. But this stuff, oh, it's frozen or something. Anywho, I'm out, y'all. Hope y'all have a good night. I'm about to try to go get some rest. Thank y'all for hanging out and chat with me. I think I'm going to come chat next week too. Remove. Okay. Oh yeah, y'all. So I think I'm gonna come back and chat next week too. So if y'all have anything y'all want me to chat about, definitely hit me up. Let me know. Hit me up on Instagram. Hit me up on Facebook. Thank you. Take care of yourself. Feel better. I will. Hope you have a good night, y'all. Bye bye. End stream.